Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Lost in Video. Before Sam Raimi was swinging around the streets of New York with Spider Man, he was cooking up something a little stranger, a little darker, and a touch more unhinged. A superhero movie that wasn't actually based off of a comic book, even though it feels like it popped straight out of the pages of one. Today, we're going to be talking about 1990's Darkman. Sam Raimi wanted to direct a superhero movie in the late 1980s. He tried to land Batman and The Shadow, but studios said no dice due to a lack of experience with big projects on his part. So Raimi cooked up his own pulp hero. Think Phantom of the Opera meets Frankenstein meets The Punisher. Hence, we got Darkman. Backed by Universal with a $14 million budget, Raimi got more resources than ever before, though he also had to fight studio interference. Still, you see his signature fingerprints all over the movie. The wild camera swoops, the grotesque prosthetics, the mix of horror and slapstick. It's basically Evil Dead energy injected into a superhero story. What's not to love about that? Sam Raimi takes the lead as director and story co-creator. Coming hot off Evil Dead 2, Raimi proved he could stretch beyond horror. Darkman is basically his test run for superhero filmmaking, setting up his future Spider-Man trilogy. It's also one of his earliest collaborations with, drumroll, Danny Elfman, the film's composer. Yep, the man who scored Batman, Beetlejuice, and later Raimi's own Spider-Man. Elfman gives Darkman a sweeping, gothic theme that instantly elevates the movie. He's basically the MVP of late 80s, early 90s comic book styles theme scores, and he's one of the GOAT film composers of all time. Bill Pope is the film's cinematographer. This guy is a legend. After Darkman, he went on to shoot Army of Darkness, The Matrix trilogy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and even Spider-Man 2. Pope's kinetic style and love of practical effects photography helped define how action fantasy films would look for decades. Robert Tappert is a producer on the film. This is Raimi's longtime collaborator who co-founded Renaissance Pictures. He'd later produce Xena, Warrior Princess, and Spartacus. Basically, the dude has given us both Lucy Lawless being a badass and Liam Neeson losing his face. And finally, Greg Canham runs special makeup effects. The prosthetics legend who designed Darkman's horrific face, Canham won Oscars for Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mrs. Doubtfire, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. His work in Darkman is gnarly, grotesque, and unforgettable. Liam Neeson stars as Peyton Westlake, aka Darkman. This was pre-Schindler's List, pre-Taken, pre-action icon Neeson. At the time, he was still a respected character actor with roles in Excalibur, The Mission, and Suspect. Darkman was his first leading role in a big studio project, and it let him go full over-the-top, rage-filled anti-hero. It's kind of hilarious to think that the same guy who calmly said release the Kraken was once screaming about his synthetic skin melting at the 99-minute mark. Frances McDormand also stars as Julie Hastings. She's the moral compass of the movie and Peyton's love interest. Frances was still early in her career, having debuted in Blood Simple, the first film by her husband Joel Coen and brother-in-law Ethan. She'd go on to win multiple Oscars for Fargo, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and No Man Land. It's surreal to see her in what's essentially a comic book B-movie, but her performance grounds it in something real. Larry Drake plays Robert G. Durant, the finger-collecting mob boss villain. Drake was already known for his Emmy-winning role as Benny on LA Law, but horror fans knew him from Dr. Giggles. Here, he brings a cold, business-like menace that makes him one of Raimi's most underrated villains. His little finger cigar trick, pure comic book evil. Colin Frills hams it up as Louis Strack Jr. Corporate sleaze alert. Frills was an Australian actor who gained attention in Malcolm and later appeared in the awesome movie Dark City from 1998. As Strack Jr., he's the classic businessman, worse than the mob type archetype. Supporting players in the cast also include Nelson Machida as Yakatito, part of Durant's crew. Ted Raimi, Sam's brother, as Rick, one of the Durant's goons. Because what's a Raimi film without a Raimi cameo? Dan Hicks from Evil Dead 2 as Skip, because Raimi, of course, loved reusing his family of actors. And speaking to that same point, of course, Evil Dead star Bruce Campbell even makes a cameo at the end of the film. Warning, spoilers. From here on out, there will be major spoilers for the movie, so if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to check out this cult gem, especially if you're a fan of dark superhero movies, Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand, or Sam Raimi himself. Then come back and join me for the rest of the video. So, here's a quick recap of the movie. Peyton Westlake is a scientist working on creating synthetic skin to help burn victims. His lab is attacked by Durant's menacing gang while they seek to destroy damning evidence against Durant's criminal partner, Louis Stracke Jr. The attack leaves Westlake horribly burned and presumed dead. Somehow he survives, now unable to feel pain, but prone to explosive rages. Using his skin tech, Peyton disguises himself as various criminals and infiltrates Durant's gang, slowly taking revenge while trying to reconnect with Julie, his girlfriend and would-be fiancée, who happens to also work for Stracke Jr., which complicates matters further. Once he gets his revenge, Peyton's monstrous side takes over, leading to the tragic realization that he can't go back to his whole life. Instead, he embraces the shadows as Darkman. Seriously, this guy rages harder than Jack Perry fans when CM Punk main evented WrestleMania. He's emotionally unstable, horribly scarred, and forced to hide either under bandages or temporary masks that he makes from his, for lack of a better term, skin tech. Beneath the explosions and Raimiisms, Darkman is about identity, trauma, and the monster inside each of us. Peyton wants to be loved, to return to his old life, but he's literally falling apart. His masks melt, his rage boils over, and the humanity he clings to keeps slipping against his will. It's the same DNA as a comic book tragedy akin to The Incredible Hulk, or something like The Phantom of the Opera, but Raimi filters it through his own unique chaotic lens. You may laugh at the absurdity in one moment and then recoil in the next. It's sort of like a superhero movie mixed with a horror carnival ride. Darkman was a modest box office hit in 1990, spawning 2 direct-to-video sequels, one starring Arnold Vosloo, aka The Mummy. While it didn't become the next Batman, or even close really, it did prove that Sam Raimi could juggle comic book spectacle, horror, and heart. Without Darkman, Raimi may never have even gotten Spider-Man. Here's the thing, Darkman is by no stretch a perfect movie. It's messy, it's over the top, and at times it does feel like Sam Raimi's camera is doing laps around the actors. However, that imperfect charm is part of the reason that this movie is regarded as such a beloved cult classic today. If you love horror, pulp comics, or just movies that take big wild swings, Darkman hits like a steel chair to the face. It's got Raimi's manic energy, Neeson's tragic intensity, and a kind of gonzo creativity that you just don't get in today's superhero films. It's not just a film, it's a weird, scrappy, blood-soaked love letter to pulp heroes. And honestly, that's part of the reason why people still keep the Darkman flame alive. So, what do you think? Is Darkman an underrated superhero gem, or just a cult relic of the 90s? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I think that's going to do it for this video, although I really had a lot of fun talking about Darkman. It's a fun movie. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for getting lost in video. I'll see you next time.